Hi there, this is the Valentine's Couples Time Massage recap video for the February 15th workshop. We did a lot of work on the feet and then the hands and forearms. So, start out with your partner face up on their back. I'm going to start with the feet. So, sit next to the leg of the foot that you want to work on. Scoop underneath the ankle and place the leg on top of yours. Maybe readjust so that you can access the foot easily. You're not too close, it's not in your belly, and you're not too far like you're out of your power. From here, scoop inner hand, the hand that's closest to the opposite leg, underneath the back of the heel, and the opposite hand presses against the ball of the foot. Just get a feel for being able to flex the toes towards your partner's face. They probably won't feel a big stretch on the back of the leg. That's okay. We're just doing warm-up. And now get a feel for curling the toes down towards you. So elbow comes high, heel of hand presses down and forward. Now we're going to move in a circle. So we curl the toes back toward us as we lean back, lean in, and then press the ball of the foot forward, and then lean out to the side. Moving your whole center of gravity, using as little effort as possible in the arm, in your own extremities. Circle in one direction, and then circle in the other direction. About 3 times. Again, a little bit of a flex in the foot, and then a point in the foot. Partner receiving, you just get to play dead, which is easier said than done. From here, I'm going to scoop my forearm in front of her toes and grip the ball of the foot, where the ball of the foot meets the big toe. From here, I'm going to grab and squeeze between my finger pads and my heel of hand. And now I pull my elbow to the side to invert the foot. That's the first hand position. Release to neutral, grip at the arch of the foot, just below the ball of the foot. Same thing, grip, pull the elbow to the side, invert. Third hand position just above the heel at the arch, grip and invert. Second hand position, upper arch, grip and invert. Third hand position where the ball of the foot meets the big toe, grip and invert. Switch the hands. Outer hand comes to the back of the heel. Opposite hand reaches in front of the foot again. This time we're gripping where the ball of the foot meets the pinky toe. E version. We're not going to be able to move the foot and ankle as much as we did on the other side. So grip here. Pull elbow in slightly and release. Second hand position, outer edge of the foot below the ball of the foot, grip and invert. Third hand position, closer to the outer heel, grip and invert. Second hand position, and first. From here, we bring thumbs to the sole of the foot. And there's other videos where you can get more of a close-up look on this. Again, this is just a recap video to jog your memory from the workshop. We're making thumb prints from above the heel all the way up to the ball of the foot, at least 3 rounds, and you can get a feel if there's tight spots on the foot, you can just lock and sink and hold there. After 3 thumb compressions, and it's like we're making thumbprints, so we're not dragging and kneading, we're just compressing one at a time. After that, we bring the outer hand, elbow comes high, make kind of an upside down V shape between the index finger and the thumb. We're going to use the index finger or the middle finger to drag up. This time we are dragging like a centimeter to an inch at a time up the outer edge of the foot. The thumb is counter pressing at the inner arch all the way up to the pinky toe. When you get to the pinky toe, we switch to a pinching position between the thumb and the inner knuckle of the index finger. Grip at the base of the pinky toe, coin rub out toward the toenail, pinch at the toenail, and maybe snap off. One at a time, each toe. Base of the, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4th toe. All the way up, pinch, snap, middle toe, second toe, and big toe or the great toe. Okay. Give a little point to the toes, give a little flex to the foot, and then place the foot down next to you. From here, we moved into a position where we do feel the stretch at the back of the calves. So, from a squatted position, scoop underneath the outer ankles. I'm standing in between my partner's feet. Stand up and walk the feet toward them. Okay, so I'm introducing kind of an L shape. Lift the feet up and forward so you can swing your own forearms back behind the feet, gripping at the back of the heels. Lean back, a little bit of traction for your partners. Low back, back of the hips, back of the legs. Maybe even step your feet wide and dance a little side to side, introducing some range of motion to their hips. Now walk the feet forward, lifting as high as they can with keeping the legs straight. If that's here for your partner, that's okay. Just take the feet wide, bring their heels together, and place them at your low belly. Marissa can bring her legs a little bit higher, so I'm going to walk them up a bit. Her feet are at my belly, and I'm going to use my thumbs here to open up the feet like a book. We've got 3 thumb positions along the outer edge of the foot. One is just above the heels. Second is at the outer edges of the feet, at the middle. And third is at the ball of the foot where it meets the pinky toe. From here, we're going to pinch and peel back, extending each toe one at a time. So pinky toes, fourth toes, middle toes, second toes, nice, and then big toes. Once we get to the big toes, we're going to do the same grip that we did when we inverted the foot. This time the feet are on our belly though. So grip where the ball of the foot meets the big toe. And we're going to move in a syncopated fashion, so we're not synchronized. We're not doing both at the same time. I'm peeling back the right side, peeling back the left side, peeling back the right side, peeling back the left side. We start at the ball of the foot, and then we move to the arch of the foot. Same third hand positions at the arch of the foot, just closer to the heel. Second hand position, arch of the foot, closer to the ball of the foot, and then finally return to the ball of the foot. Close by opening the feet up like a book once again, and then grab the backs of the heels, wave the feet all the way down to the mat, and ask your partner to roll over face down. Roll over face down.
Arms down?
Yes, you can bring. When your partner's face down, they can, as long as you're not working on the back, they can keep their arms up or down. They can turn their head left or right or alternate. It's up to them. From here, kneel between your partner's feet and use your hands to feet to compress. Squeeze at the heel and lean back to lengthen at the Achilles tendon. Now we're going to warm up the back of the legs with some palm compressions. Okay, so palm up. You can either bunny hop both hands at the same time or palm walk, left hand then right hand. Skip the back of the knee. Okay, so don't compress directly at the back of the knee crease. Skip up to the hamstrings. And once you get to the glutes, switch to a loose fist and use the flat part of your knuckles to compress at the gluteal tissue. And then back down. Palms to the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. Compress all the way back down. Skip the back of the knees, compress the back of the calves. Ask your partner about pressure. Some of us have really sensitive calves. Grab the back of the heels and lean back to lengthen the Achilles tendons. Squeeze the heels, compress arches of the feet, and feather off. Now we're going to switch to foot. So come to a standing position. One foot grounds down, the other heel grounds, and we compress forward. Ball of the foot compresses to partner's ball of the foot. Now I move, shift, ground my heel, lean weight into the arch of my partner's foot, and then back down. You can do it 1 foot at a time. You can even do both feet at the same time, and this takes some balance, some grounding in the heel first. And for more pressure and a sharper pressure, a more focused, narrow pressure, you can turn around and use your own heel to the sole of your partner's foot. So same thing, ground down in the opposite leg. This time the ball of the foot is going to ground as I lift my heel, find the right placement, and then sink down, weight into the heel. You can use more pressure here. You can also use more focused pressure. So if you like deeper pressure to the foot as a giver, this is going to be the best way to do it so you don't hurt your thumbs. And even here you can use both feet at the same time. Make sure your balance is good. Standing on the toes or the balls of the feet, leaning side to side, slightly shifting so that you can move your heels up and down the sole, the arch of your partner's feet, and then feather off. From here, Marissa, go ahead and bring your arms down by your sides. From here, we continue using the feet. We just moved on up to the forearms. Make sure there's a slight bend in your partner's elbow, just because we don't want to hyperextend there. Similar principle. One foot stays grounded. The opposite foot, I ground through my heel, and I compress down through the ball of the foot at my partner's hand. Marissa actually uses her hands to make jewelry for a living, so this is quite good for her. If you work on a computer, if you use your hands for work, this is quite nice. Now I'm going to move up to the forearm. I've got to shift my standing leg, my grounded foot, forward. Heel grounds. Be more sensitive around the wrist, but then as you move up the forearm, you can use a little bit more pressure. Up to the elbow, but not on the elbow bones. We never compress on bones directly. And then back down to the wrist, hand, fingers, and feather off. Finally, we came up, similar to what we did in the first Valentine's Day workshop on the 14th. Kneel, framing your partner's head. Make sure their hair's out of the way. Compress at the shoulders. My hips are toward my heels so I can get a forward and slightly downward pressure. Out toward the outer edges of the shoulder and back in. And once I get to the space between the shoulder blades now, I'm compressing down either side of the spine. Lift up into a kneeling position, kind of like a kneeling plank. Compress one hand at a time, broad palms, broad pressure, not just at the heel of hand. All the way down to the lower back. And now we're going to lock at the sacrum, okay? So communicate with your partner about where this feels good. You got to find that Goldilocks zone where it's just right. And now I'm leaning forward. You can stay here on your knees, or you can lift your knees and find downward dog in your own body. Tractioning length into the lumbar spine. This is especially good if your partner has a history of disc herniations. That length, that decompression can feel really good if you have compression issues at the low back. Stay as long as you like, as long as it feels good to you, sustainable, good for your partner. When you drop back down to the knees, make sure you don't kneel on your partner's head. Watch as you lower knees down to frame their head. Unlock by leaning your hips back, and then compress your way back up either side of the spine, one hand print at a time, listening, sensing with your hands, with your compression, all the way to the tops of the shoulders, and then back out. Flip over onto your back, face up. We close with some head and neck work. Could you scoot down towards your feet? So sit, framing your partner's head. We're going to start by scooping under the back of the neck. You can play dead. And if you're getting your partner's hair out of the way, just turn it into a therapeutic thing, like scooping hands underneath the back of the neck at the base of the shoulders, and then guide the hair up and away from the back of their neck and slide off. We're going to do a similar movement, except we're going to hook the fingertips on either side of the spine at the neck, okay? So right where the shoulders meet the neck, I bring my fingertips to touch. I curl my fingertips up, so I'm compressing into the musculature of the back of her neck. And now, just centimeter by centimeter, I'm dragging up the skin of the back of her neck, One option when you get to the hairline is to slide out across the hairline toward the ears and off. You do this 3 times at least. Curl fingertips, finger pads where the shoulders meet the neck. Glide them up, really compressing into the tissue as much as feels okay to your partner. The second option when you get to the hairline is just to continue up the back of the head, so long as you're not pulling your partner's hair too much. We don't want it to hurt. All the way up. The third time, we're going to land with our hands below back of the partner's head. So gliding up skin of the back of the neck. Once I get finger pads to the hairline, I bring my pinkies to touch, the pinky sides of my palms to touch, and now I just let the weight of her head rest on my palms and my hands rest against the mat. Give a slight curl to your fingers so that finger pads compress the small muscles, the suboccipital muscles at the hairline. You could even lock and sink there and maybe feel the muscles melt below the pressure. And after this pause, as long as you like to pause, widen the thumbs so that they're on the other side of the ears. So my thumbs are like at her temples. I'm going to lean to the right and roll her head, not slide the head on the mat. Push the head with your left hand, roll head into your right hand. Notice how I'm leaning. I'm going to roll her head into my left hand now. She's got pretty good range of motion. You can do that maybe 3 times, side to side. I'm going to stop here with her head in my left hand so I can show you a stretch in the right shoulder. Her head's resting on my left hand. Her head's turned to the left. My right hand comes to the right shoulder, and I lean forward toward the right arm to stretch the right side of her neck and shoulder. It doesn't take a lot here, okay? The muscles on the side of the neck can be quite tight and also quite sensitive, protecting important vessels and nerves and lymphatic structures, etc., etc. So after a few stretches, I'm going to brace my thumb on the inner knuckle of my index finger and make thumb prints up the top of the shoulder line toward the neck. So start just inside the shoulder joint, the AC joint. Remember, we're not compressing on bone, we're compressing on muscle. Making thumb prints in toward the neck. And once you get to the neck, we switch to the 4 finger pads. Compressing in toward the neck, drag circles from where the neck meets the shoulder all the way up to behind the ear. Once you get to the hairline, switch to fingertips or fingernails, make some circles up through the hair, and then feather off. Roll the head into the opposite hand. Maybe do another roll side to side, just to release any tension that may have built up, and then do the opposite side. Head comes back to center, and we feather off. And that's all we did for the second Valentine's Couples Workshop sequence on February 15th.